Well, none of them can hide from the truth, yeah. Children have to go back to the roots, yeah. None of them can hide from the truth, yeah. Children have to go back to the roots. I'm telling you now, the truth, the truth. Telling you, yeah, the truth, the truth. You have to go back to the roots, the roots. Go to the roots, to the roots. Yeah, man, you know, this is Benjamin out of the Smiling Coast, West Africa, Gambia, representing for the one and only Abu, the big man you don't know, the Soninke warrior, the man that brings the truth, Soninke warrior, the sign of enlightenment, the Soninke warrior, the righteous and the true African. Abu, reveal the truth to them, you know, no matter how them try run from it, because none of them can hide from the truth, yeah. Yes, we have to dig back the roots, yeah. Fire!
Subscribe now.
I remember the days, all those years ago that never fade away. And I remember your face when you hit the ground. I can recall the time and place on a midnight walk through the old streets, trying to turn back the clock to the days of old, back to the days when all the things we knew were made of gold. As the world moves on, time sings a song, in the old neighborhood. As the clock strikes one, the memory lives just as it stood.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Afridamus Report. I'm your host, Afridamus. I want to welcome all of you to another edition of our Friday Afridamus show. Please make sure you hit the like if you haven't already done so, and subscribe. Let's get the likes up. Ladies and gentlemen, where are we today? Well, the United States President Joe Biden, some would call him Sleepy Joe, visited Angola. And why is he visiting Angola in this late hour of his presidency? We will touch on all that. Well, you know, I'm sure many people, especially people who are into the Pan-African stuff, or like people who like to act like they are smart, right? So they usually would talk about 1884. I'm sure some of you have heard this. The scramble and partition of African land. See, prior to 1884, think about it, that's not that long ago even. Africans were already trading with the Europeans. But see, Europeans were fighting each other over the control of territories in Africa. So now they decided, okay, check this out. Instead of us fighting each other, why don't we agree and share, petition this place amongst ourselves? Now we get to own it. Because you see, the Europeans were tired of so you would have African chiefs, some of these chiefs, they are part of the trade, but every now and again they come up with difficult conditions for the Europeans. So this was a time it wasn't the Europeans had nukes or anything like that. The battle, the Africans could go to battle at the time. It's close combat. You got bows and arrows, and some of those strong African kings on the coast had weapons. They had standing army. So the Europeans are like, look, we don't want to keep battling this. How about we agree? And Germany, you take this portion. England, you take this portion. France, you take this portion. And guess what? Now it is ours. This is the Europeans saying this. We own the land and all the people within it. So the British, they mainly, quote unquote, wanted to civilize the people, you see, and the French as well. But long story short, it's about raw materials. They need access to these raw materials, and also they want it for free. So we fast forward, eventually some Africans, got educated, quote unquote, in the white man's system, and they understand the game. They understand, like, look, man, this is not gonna work. So, long story short, we came to the 60s, like prior to that, World War One, World War One, Germany lost many of their territories because they lost the war. World War Two rolled around, but mind you, both World War One and World War Two, Africans fought in these wars. Because you see, after some time, especially in the French territories, because the French, they ruled directly. They came into the territories, many of these French territories, they have their own constables, like places like in the Congo, it's Belgian, but it's still, you have Brazzaville and Kinshasa. So Brazzaville is by the French, Kinshasa, that's by the, Belgian, but they both speak French. So the type of law they had, the colonial law was, you know, um, basically put the Africans in line. So the officers are usually white people. So they train the Africans to control the other Africans. So, and eventually you would see that creates the hierarchy that we see today. Those who will, fit right into that colonial system were able to have, advantages. So it became much easier because now the European don't have to, battle it directly, except, few territories. So eventually the Africans, after some years, they became scared. They see the European like a god, for instance. So World War One, the Africans that went to those battles, you know, they saw for the first time, mind you, because they thought the white people were invincible, especially from the western part, West Africa, where they started seeing the white man being taken down, white people, deleting one another. This is war. And they also were soldiers there, and for the first time they were able to, to shoot a white man down. So it changed the perspective of the African completely, completely. So those who went to World War One, they came with a different mentality. So they started with little agitations here and there. Then World War Two rolled around. Africans went again. They fought battles in Europe, in Asia, like they participated, the Africans. So now they're like, okay, we have to rule ourselves. So, but the old trade routes have never changed. Because mind you, remember, like the Belgians, they controlled Congo. I mean, a vast territory. Like Congo is way bigger than Belgium. Belgium is a tiny little country. So their king, King Leopold, he's never even set foot in the Congo, but he controlled it. So towards the end of the 1800s, that's when they, discovered the pneumatic tube, tires and, like bicycle. So they invented that. And guess what? King Leopold, Congo had, the forest had vast amount of rubber, and he was in control of all that. So, so what they would do is they would send soldiers in to these small villages. I mean, it's a vast territory, but the population is not that big. It's not large population. So you would see like, smaller village here, smaller village there. So it's easier for people to come with guns and round up the people. And that's exactly what they were doing. So they would round the men up, they're like, hey, because like the men can run, but they would take their kids and wives and put like a quarter, and the moms have to go too. So they have to go into the forest to get that rubber, the rubber sap. So Belgium became wealthy off of that. I mean, think about it, like you are just collecting, but you're not giving anything in return. So even after these African countries had the independence, those railroads you're seeing was built by the Europeans because they want to make it easier to take the resources out. So we fast forward to present day. I'm sure many of you have heard about China. People are like, oh, China is taking over Africa. No, all China did was because you see, the United States became a player in the global world after World War II. But the United States focus is not to take the resources from Africa. They want to challenge, at the time they challenged Russia. They want, like military control, while they work with their NATO allies, basically to have puppets. So their focus wasn't to control. But now the Chinese, after the fall of, colonial powers like, the English and the French, they control the Sahel region, but now we know what's happening with that. They also, the Europeans are losing control of the place because China came in. So we're going to talk about the lobito corridor. So this lobito corridor, this is why Joe Biden went to Angola, because the United States is beginning to see that, look, China is beating them in the scramble for African resources, especially the Congo. So this region right here has the most amount of resources that the world needs currently. And China is a big player there. China revived this railroad. They built this railroad. We're talking kilometers and kilometers, covering vast territories to make it easier to transport, mineral resources out of the Congo, Zambia. You guys saw Zambia. Steve Harvey just went to Zambia, so he was there talking about. He wants to bring opportunities about acting. That's all BS. He was sent there by the UAE. So what you have to understand right now, what you're watching, the same thing like 1884, but it's different now because the Africans are a player in the middle of this. Now the Africans want to be able to play with whoever they want. Like, you're no longer going to come and tell them, oh, we are going to give you aid. Because what the United States does is they would say, oh, we're going to give 5 billion to, they would say, Africa. Africa is not a country. It's 54 countries there. But you see, that's a game. They would say, so they would direct this quote unquote aid money to things that are like intangible. You can't really prove if the money came or not. Like they would say, oh, we are sponsoring education, we are sponsoring human rights, like stuff like that, to foster human rights. And then you start thinking like, wait a minute. Why, when it comes to Africa, it's always aid, aid, aid? Like African countries have resources. Why are you just trying to give them aid? But it's not an aid. It's just like some sort of bribery, three people at the top, you know. And Angola, they were colonized by the Portuguese. They fought a bitter war. They they won the war. They kicked the Portuguese out, and then they themselves had the civil war between themselves, amongst themselves. They had a rebel leader named Jonas Savimbi. Most of you that know about African conflicts would have heard about him. He was very popular. He was fighting for the liberation of his people, and he fought a brutal civil war. But Angola discovered oil. Angola is very rich in oil and a lot of other natural resources. I get it. Some of you are probably thinking, oh, look at these Angolan leaders, these leaders that are participating in this. They are tap dancers. They are being taken advantage of. Not so fast. Because think about it. These territories are reeling all the way from a time when Europeans could just dock and collect their resources, come in to the territory and enslave the people there and get resources for free, because they said they own it, to where now these territories, the people there are able to decide who they want to trade with. Trade. Okay? They are not selling slaves like back in those days. They are trading the resources they have. But I will tell you why Angola, the game that Angola is playing, and why Angola accept the lobito to be revived. I'll tell you. So Angola has lots of oil, lots of oil. It was once even projected around the early two, like in the after the war, they were saying by 2021, Angola would surpass Algeria and Nigeria in oil production. But it didn't happen. It's not because Angola is incompetent. Here's the trick. You guys, have you heard about the OPEC, the oil nations? So the OPEC consists of countries like Iran, Iraq, Saudi Arabia, Venezuela. So these countries, they form this bloc. And what is this bloc about? They claim they have 80% of the world's oil reserve, but they only produce 20%. Why are they doing that? Because supply and demand. You see, they want to control, the oil prices so they get to dictate. And so these countries is sort of like a mafia. So Angola discovering oil. So when Angola came in, you know what they are doing? They're doing to Angola. They were treating Angola like a stepchild. You see? So Angola has so much oil, but the OPEC countries, they get to decide how much oil any country that eventually join in, how much you can produce. You see? They get to decide that. So back in the 70s, during the Yom Kippur War, when Israel, you know, um, the Israel fought the Arab countries there. So the OPEC countries, what did they do? They put an oil sanction on any country, any country that had the policy of supporting um, Israel. And we all know which countries those were: the United States, um, England, and France. And in the 70s, that brought, I mean, oil prices just skyrocketed. You can read about it. I mean, like in documentaries where in the United States, like people were lining up for gas. So now, if you look at it, so the United States is like, look, we cannot allow the OPEC people to have leverage over us. So since the OPEC people, they're not allowing Angola to produce as much oil as possible, it's like 1 million barrel a day. When Angola can surpass that capacity, they have the capability, they have the know-how, but the OPEC, these Arab countries that control it, they don't want Angola to produce a whole lot. What did Angola do? They left OPEC. Now they became an independent player, you see, which I'm sure the United States was behind it. It's like, hey, you go be independent, you can trade with us. But now that also Angola becoming independent put a lot of money in their pocket. If you go to Luanda, most people, do you know how much, um, like Luanda, the hotels minimum would run you $300 a night. So that means there's ton of money in Angola, oil money. So Angola tasted the money, they went independent. Most of their elites are making money. Here comes China. China is like, hey, we would buy your oil. Go look up. I don't have the exact number, but China had already purchased, we're talking in a billion plus worth of dollars oil from Angola. But now, how China does business is now that they know, okay, we purchase this oil from Angola, that means Angola has money because they, we just gave it to them. Like that's China's thinking. So they're like, okay, now let's build this project, this road, you know, since Angola can't build it, but they have the money. So they pay to a point that now they're in debt, indebted to China. So when everyone ignored that road, they built it. And this is why Joe Biden is in Angola visiting to make sure that, bottom line is they want them to stop dealing with China and deal with them. That's what this visit is all about. So, but other things happen. Before we get into that, let me show you a friend of Joe Biden for him to describe Joe Biden for us. Just a minute. Let's see. Spellcaster said, good afternoon, Afridamus. A1 to all Africans on the panel worldwide. Represent. Thank you, Spellcaster, for the super chat there. All right. Let's see. This is for fair use. Let's see, have little ease before we get into the show here.
He just got back from California. He was supposed to go to the White House. He never got there. He went to Delaware, and he's laying on a beach sleeping all day long. No, seriously, who the hell wants to sleep? And who wants to sleep in public? He's sleeping.
Well, we are about to find out who sleeps in public. Let me do my disclaimer here. Give me a moment. So Joe Biden went to Angola, even though the news, they like to say Africa. Okay. So this is about resources. The resources coming from the Congo, Zambia, Tanzania. That's what this railroad is about. And China has the upper hand there. This is for fair use.
Has had another senior moment during a summit in Africa where he appeared to fall asleep whilst leaders were praising him.
Of people, goods and services, but will also promote shared prosperity and inclusive growth across the region. Internal consultations aiming at aligning this project with national priorities and other.
Yeah, while the African leaders, quote unquote, from those countries, are over there praising Biden, instead of talking business, obviously Biden went to sleep. So when Biden got to Angola, they the president there in Angola, they gave a 3-day holiday. I'm guessing they probably like, Biden is like, you better make sure we that holiday, we'll call it Kwanzaa. I gave some of your people, the Juneteenth holiday when I became president. So you guys better give me a holiday here. He gave them the president declared a 3-day holiday in Angola. And then this is what Biden repaid them. Let's hear this.
Bilateral and regional commitments.
Do you think President Xi of China is at a beach sleeping? Do you think Kim Jong-un is sleeping from North Korea with his nuclear weapons all over the place? They don't sleep so much.
Allow me to reiterate Tanzania's commitment to reach.
Yeah, that's Tanzania. They are telling Biden about their commitment to what Biden is over here. He's supposed to be, letting the blacks, because obviously he thinks he's talking to he's like, hey, they're all black anyways. It's the same. I grew up in a black church. That's what he said. And, at the black church, this is what we do. So Biden, he falls asleep and he misses out on what the people, the presidents right there are saying.
Integration and shared prosperity. We note the progress made on the development of the Lobito corridor and commend the visionary leadership that has brought this initiative to life. And it is through such partnerships and innovations that Africa's Agenda 2063 will be realized. I thank you.
The president appeared to
So you guys are seeing this? So Alexa said he's not sleeping, he's praying. Yeah, the way he jumped, I think he was meditating. So you see that, right? So before people come up here and be like, oh, they are exploiting Africans. No, this is not like 1884. You see, this is Tshisekedi, the president of Democratic Republic of Congo. That's the president of Angola. Tanzania, Zambia's president is at this meeting. And this right here, this is the beginning of the project. So the Sahel and all of those are all part of this. So this is why they are fighting so hard to control the Sahel. And I will show you that as well, because there's supposed to be a pipeline running through Niger, going through Algeria, so they can pump gas to Europe. So here we go.
Take a nap for an extended period of time, which attracted scathing criticism from commentators online. This commentator said, "Who's running the country?" And this commentator agreed, saying, "Oh my God, Biden falls asleep during economic summit in Africa. This is so embarrassing. 1/20/2025 cannot come soon enough." The embarrassing gaffe comes after a controversial visit to Africa where Joe Biden was slammed for pledging $1 billion to help displaced Africans following natural disasters.
So watch how crazy this is. So Biden goes there. He said he's declared pledging $1 billion, like they sending the money to Ukraine. Obviously, Ukraine people don't receive it, right? So mind you, in this meeting, Biden said, so they are going to invest $600 million, but they are going to pledge $1 billion for free. Does that make sense to you? Who is this money going to? You see, sometimes, trust me, Africa is just used as the pretext, because he's not naming a country. He said Africa again. And if you notice, Biden did not go to Kenya this time around, because Kenya have no resource to give. They have none. So this is why he didn't go to Kenya. But here we go.
You know, that's the right thing for the wealthiest nation in the world to do. And today, I'm announcing over $1 billion in new humanitarian support for Africans displaced from homes by historic droughts and food insecurity. We know African leaders and citizens are seeking more than just aid. You seek investment. So the United States is expanding our relationship all across Africa.
So Biden, think about this. Biden didn't give reparation to the blacks. They're not giving checks. They only gave $750 to people that are affected by hurricane here in the United States. But somehow they are going to give $1 billion to Africans who are displaced. Which country? See, people are not asking these questions. Which country? It sounds like money laundering to me, but don't believe me. Look at the money going to Ukraine. You think the Ukrainians are getting that money? Do you think the Ukrainians are getting that money? But here we go.
From assistance to aid, investment to trade, moving from patrons to partners to help bridge the infrastructure gap. I was told, by the way, when I got elected, I could never get an infrastructure bill passed.
Commentator blasted Biden for the move, with this person saying, while Americans in North Carolina are still dealing with the aftermath of Hurricane Helene, Joe Biden is giving $1 billion to Africa, and Anthony Blinken is giving another $725 million to Ukraine. Trump cannot take over.
You guys see that? So now, like some American person would be sitting over there getting all upset, saying, oh, these Africans, we gave you all this money. But which country? Which country? It looks like America is being played. Which country? They can't tell you. And then on top of that, Blinken is giving $725 million to Ukraine. I mean, think about it. They would be out of power, out of their positions in less than a month. So what's going on here, people? I would say about exactly a month, but here we go.
Over soon enough. And the nap wasn't Biden's only senior moment during his African trip. The president of Angola was forced to intervene and direct Joe Biden on his first day, even needing to manhandle him to stop him from tripping up a step.
Do you guys see how lost Joe Biden is? What is going on here? Do you guys see how lost he is? Oh my goodness, it gets worse.
This commentator said, brainless Biden dodgering around in Africa, being led around by the president of Angola, who is trying to make sure Joe doesn't faceplant. Global embarrassment. Sky News commentator Justin Smith had a more empathetic take on the situation, saying Biden's trip shows he is a seriously ill man.
And now I look at, I know it's funny, but I can't.
All right. So you guys see and heard that. Obviously, Biden went there becoming Sleepy Joe. Like Trump said, these people are not. China, North Korea, and others are not sleeping. So now let's look at why Joe Biden went to Angola, and also this lobito corridor. Some of you probably heard it, and some of you, this might be your first time hearing about it. But you've probably heard there are a lot of Chinese presence in these regions, and now you would know why China is in Zambia, Angola, and all these other countries. So Angola, like, you cannot blame them, their position, how they are positioning themselves for trade. And some of you might be like, oh, they're exploiting them. But, or you would be like, they should, build the factories in Angola, Zambia, and this country so the people can benefit. Well, that's what some of the United States so-called experts are saying, and the Europeans. Oh, so all these years they had control over the minerals over there. They didn't think about building any of the capacities. They were taking it out. They didn't even care to update the railroads so that the transport would even be faster. China did that. So now the United States want to step in, and they want Africa to sidestep them. But Angola is maintaining a neutral position, saying, "Hey, we can all do business together." Like, China is not telling the Africans you can trade with whoever. Angola is like, "Hey, if you want the service, you want to get, copper from Zambia, you want to get coltan from the Congo. Guess what? We are available. The port is here for you guys to use it and bring money in." But again, Africa would not, these countries, it would look like they are winning, but at the end, the people that come up with the end product, become the biggest winners, per usual. So, but here we go. Let's find out why Joe Biden was there. Here we go.
Hello and welcome. Our top story today is from the southern African nation of Angola, which is being visited by the outgoing US President Joe Biden, with the goal of touting a win against China in the race for Africa. With this visit, Joe Biden delivers on his promise to visit Africa during his presidency. However, he is facing heavy criticism as the 3-day visit comes only at the tail end of his term. In a few weeks from now, he will hand over power to President-elect Donald Trump. Despite criticism, the Biden administration officials say his visit is not too little too late, as it will put the U.S. back on track in Africa after years of being off the field. There have been questions.
So you seen and heard that. So a lot of, like, the attitude of the U.S. is like Biden's administration, they just feel like, hey, look, like, it's like Africa is like their little whore on the side. They can just dump on Africa, whenever they feel like. If everything is going good, they dump Africa. They can leave for years, and Africa wouldn't find anybody else. But this time around, they are wrong. Because now these nations, African nations, are moving away from going with the word aid. They're talking investment. So this is why when some of the people, they're like, oh, why is these African countries dealing with China? Wait till you find out how much money is required to be able to invest in Africa, to invest in these mineral resources. We're talking superpower level. We're talking billions of dollars. So it's not just like an ordinary person can come in and enter this business. These people are playing at higher levels, countries So here we go.
Also on Biden's choice of oil-rich Angola as the sole African country to visit over the traditionally closer allies such as Kenya. During his visit, U.S. President Joe Biden will meet.
You guys heard that, right? You see how Joe Biden, so Ruto came to the White House. You guys remember this? You know, tap dancing, and, you know, he was smiling, and some of the Kenyans even were upset about Ruto spending all that money flying. But they came to find out, no, they didn't even, the Kenyans didn't pay for it. It was Ruto's, masters that paid for it, right? But regardless, after that visit, when Ruto went back to Kenya, there was an uprising. You guys remember we did the show here, the protest. Some of them, they want, until now, they want him out. So Biden comes all the way to Africa next door, and he doesn't go to Kenya. He chooses their most important player, Angola. This is what I'm telling you. Money talks, bullshit walks. Angola has a whole lot to offer. And I'm telling you, this line here, this trade route is going all the way to Lagos. And then Transverse through Dakar, goes all the way to Morocco. So that is the plan. But here we go.
His Angolan counterpart, Joe Lourenço, and the two leaders are expected to hold talks and to make announcements on security cooperation, health, security, agribusiness, and cultural ties. The visit by the U.S. president is aimed at highlighting the country's investments in Africa under his watch in the face of China's deepening inroads. Biden's visit marks the first time of a sitting U.S. president to sub-Saharan Africa since 2015. It is also the first time a U.S. president has visited Angola, hosting the African leaders in Washington in 2022. Biden promised to visit the continent the next year, but missed the deadline. He was scheduled to visit Angola in October of this year, but was postponed due to the devastating hurricanes that hit the U.S. Biden's visit focuses on a major U.S.-backed railway project that aims...
So, guys, I want you guys to pay attention to this corridor. The news is going to explain how this is going to work. Believe it or not, this is it's a route that's been there since the open colonization of these territories. And watch how it runs and the countries that it covers. Just watch it.
To divert critical minerals away from China. The project, which is partly funded with a U.S. loan, links the resource-rich Democratic Republic of Congo and Zambia to the Angolan port of Lobito on the Atlantic Ocean. This project will offer a fast and efficient route for exports to the West. At stake are vast supplies of minerals like copper and cobalt, and these minerals that are a key component in batteries and electronics are found in the Democratic Republic of Congo.
So, you guys hear this? So, you guys have heard about how, Rwanda, some people have accused Rwanda of stealing Congolese resources, right? From Congolese territories. Well, you're seeing how, how resources can be stolen. So if the resource was taken from the Congo, but it's shipped from Lobito, Angola, it would look like it's coming from Angola. Just like during the 90s, like you guys have heard or seen the movie Blood Diamond. It's about Sierra Leone. It was the Sierra Leonean Civil War, and it was about diamonds. So eventually the rebels, they control diamond mines. So the bears, they're the ones that control diamond prices and all. So they could not allow those rebels, to pour diamonds into the black market like that, because that would affect the price. So instead, the bears, they were buying these diamonds from the rebels. Remember Charles Taylor, the former president of Liberia? He's in prison for involvement in Sierra Leonean diamond, because when those rebels collected the diamonds, so now those diamonds were getting shipped through Liberia to make it look like it was legal. So that's why one of the reasons he got in trouble. But it's all a game. For whatever reason, they are diverting these minerals through other countries. Maybe it's cheaper that way. I don't know, but let's watch.
But competition to access resources in the region has been intensifying in recent years. For now, China is the top player in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Beijing also signed an agreement with Tanzania and Zambia earlier this year to revive a rival railway line to Africa's eastern coast. China's investments and influence have far outpaced that of the US under President Xi Jinping. Beijing has poured billions of dollars across Africa into infrastructure projects under the Belt and Road Initiative. This has become an increasing concern to Washington. Angola has long nurtured close ties with China and Russia, but recently it has moved closer to the West. Luanda has been clear. It says it is open for business.
You guys hear that, right? So Angola, if you notice, their president, somebody might be like, but why the West? He's not going there as a servant. Angola has a card that they are using. They are playing their cards. They are not asking you for aid. They said they are open for business. And you cannot get any hold of them to tell them who they can or cannot do business with. Like, they're like, yo, I get it. You don't kick it with Russia. That's none of our business. You are not going to tell us who we can or cannot deal with. And in a way, that's smart, because think about it. Why should you, you want to trade? I mean, everyone wants to trade. You want to make money. And here's this person coming talking about, check this out. We'll just give you free money, so that you do whatever we tell you to do. So that's not going to work for Angola, as you are about to hear.
It wants to work with any partner that can advance their agenda to promote economic growth. So it has become an active area of geopolitical rivalry. Beyond this railway project, the US has done little to advance ties with African nations and access vast reserves of minerals across the continent, which Washington says are critical for national security. This as China, Russia, and Gulf nations continue to seize commercial and strategic opportunities.
Did you guys hear the word Gulf nations? And so who do you guys think Steve Harvey was representing, in Zambia? So like these celebrities, quote unquote, they are bought and paid for. He goes there pretending like he's a black, celebrity. So coming in the name of brotherhood, he's bringing opportunities. No. He was bought by UAE and sent there. So it's not only Europeans playing the game. It's not only Europeans. So here we go.
Earlier this year, the US lost a major spy base in Niger and has failed to find an ally that will host these.
Did you guys hear that? Finally it's coming out. The US lost a spy base in Niger. This is in the Sahel. So I'm telling you how all this is being, how all this is connected, how important it is. I mean, even though Joe Biden slept, but the people behind Joe Biden were not sleeping. You must know that. So here we go.
Assets. Now, this has left the US without a military foothold in the Sahel region that has become a hotspot of Islamist terrorism. Niger, along with other West African countries, dumped the US-led West and tilted towards Russia, and Moscow has been expanding.
So you see that's Ibrahim Traore, the president of Burkina Faso. Okay, Mr. George said, "I know this how." I don't know if you're talking about the spy base, but it's very clear. I mean, they are not even hiding it. It's very well known. So you see it. So this goes all the way. You have the Sahel countries, and you're seeing this trend. This is becoming the trend. Like African countries now want to have the option to trade with whoever they want, and I think that's a good thing. Instead of the master and servant relationship they had, these European nations and America wants to force on them. It seems like the Africans are moving into the future, but the old colonialists don't want to let go of the past. They want the past to continue, the status quo, but that's not what the Africans want. Here we go.
Its footprint in the region, with the junta-ruled states relying on Moscow for security assistance. Competing with China and Russia has remained common on the agenda for both Biden and Trump. This visit by Joe Biden delivers only one of a sweeping...
Oh, Mr. George. Oh, no, George said, I'm talking about Steve Harvey. Yes, he himself, he said it on his trip when he went to Zambia. So while he was explaining the movie stuff, he started out by letting them know who sent him, which is the UAE. I'm actually going to do a video on it. We'll use the clip so we hear it out of his own mouth. And UAE, I mean, I'm not surprised that they sent him there, because all these other countries, even though you're not thinking about the Arabs, they are also players there. You think all that gold they actually have gold in their ground? No, they're getting it from African nations. So they are also major players, and they've been for centuries.
State of pledges to Africa. Others remain hollow promises for now. These include gaining 2 permanent seats for Africa at the UN Security Council. And some analysts say that Donald Trump is likely to remain a close partner to Angola when he returns to the Oval Office in January, while others remain skeptical.
So they're saying Trump would more than likely remain, connected with Angola. I mean, sure, I can see that happening, because they would still need those mineral resources, and especially Elon Musk being around him, he needs those batteries. So Trump clearly, he made it clear that he will challenge Russia. He's already sent message to the BRICS nations to let them know he's not going to allow them to come up, to stop using the dollar. Any country that stops it, the BRICS nation, he's going to put 100% tariff on them. So we'll see if that's going to work out, or if Trump will pump more money into this region, so the United States can maintain, control over the resources, instead of China and Russia controlling everything. Here we go.
First term, Trump did refer to African nations as shithole countries. So Trump is tearing up Biden's reset of relations could also not be surprising.
Have you ever seen a tape of this? Because every time they bring up Trump and Africa, they like to, say, oh, he called African countries shithole countries. I mean, you think that's gonna stop, these leaders from, doing trade business with Trump and America? I don't know. I don't think so. They don't care. It's about business. They know, they know like how Americans see Africa. So that's not a shock for them.
Now, for more on this, we have with us Dr. Alex Vines, who is the Director of Africa Program at Chatham House and is joining us live from London in the United Kingdom. Thank you for being with us.
So this guy is a British professor from Chatham House. This is like their colonial African control room. When they elect, African leaders in the Commonwealth areas, you have to go to Chatham House to kiss the ring to be initiated. So since the British, they're no longer superpower for a while. Maybe they wish they fought harder not to lose these colonies. So let's hear, how the British he explains this. Okay, I mean, we must not forget that they had the opportunity to probably do exactly as China is doing. But let's hear what this African expert from Chatham House, let's see what he believes.
You're very welcome.
Now, how does President Biden's visit to Angola and the focus on the US-backed railway project reflect the broader US strategy to counter China's influence in Africa, particularly in securing these mineral supply chains?
Well, you're right. And as you've described, the Lobito corridor is part of a Western effort. It's not just the United States, because the European Union, through its Global Gateway project.
So you heard it from his mouth, right? So the United States is not in this by themselves, mind you. It's NATO, meaning they're going in. This is like Western white people versus Russia, and the Chinese and the Africans are the ones that have the resources that they all want. So now Africans gotta be smart. Like the African nations should not take sides. Go with the person who's willing to pay the most. And in this meantime, while they are fighting each other, you can in fact, because it's like you're the new girl in town, everybody's willing to pay. Start coming up with ideas. The highest bidder, you go with that. So here we go. And the Europeans don't want this, because it's like, I mean, think about it. All these years they were saying, you could just, the same people, you come to them, you just take their stuff, and then you call it aid. If the leader resists, you set up a coup, get rid of them. And then now all of a sudden, these people are like, hey, look, check this out. We want to talk business. Are you talking business? If not, hey, we're talking to China. It's like we are talking to everyone, and we're comparing prices. So this is the game that African nations have gotten kicked out of. So now they are trying to use, some type of reward and say, we'll give, two permanent UN security permanent seats to African countries, to African countries. But which countries are those going to be? It will be interesting. So they want to give them that. Why? Why now? It's all part of the trade, because what they are trying to do is symbolism. They want to do symbolism. This is what the Westerners are trying to do. The Chinese are coming with tangibles, and the Africans are saying we want tangibles. But here we go.
Project is funding the Lobito corridor, as is also the African Development Bank. And so the Lobito corridor is about accessing the cobalt and particularly the copper from the Democratic Republic of the Congo down to Lobito port. The reality, though, is that although it's funded by the American taxpayer and the European taxpayer and some other financiers.
So American taxpayers have we are funding this loan, because the United States also they invested in part of the their own railroad that they're building. So it's like this is like the war of railroads. So by the time these people finish this railroad war, I mean, the whole of Africa is going to be connected. Okay. So it's the railroad war. So American taxpayers are paying for this. That's us.
The Lobito corridor is actually for all minerals going down that corridor, for whoever wants to take them down the corridor. And so the beneficiaries to this investment, this uplift of this corridor, are not American companies or mining companies. They are actually Chinese and Canadian ones in the short term. The initial contract to use this particular revitalized line has gone to a Canadian and Chinese company.
Are you guys hearing the diversion here? So countries that you probably think they are not players here, they're not benefiting from these resources. Who would have thought, Canada is directly benefiting from these resources? So usually, like United States and these other countries are just the face, but there are other players that benefit. So clearly, you'd be like, oh, Canadians will not invade any country. Well, some of the soldiers you see are Canadians, because Canada also benefits from these resources, just so you know.
Example, which mines copper in the DRC. So although there is geopolitics into this,
Right.
there is actually multipolarity also.
And Doctor, if you're still there, let me ask you another question.
The link is in the chat, guys. Hit the link. I'm going to let the video play, but hit the link. Come join the conversation.
What are the economic and the geopolitical implications of diverting Angola's critical minerals away from China, both for Angola and for the African continent as a whole? How might this move influence the regional partnerships and development?
Well, the Lobito corridor is not about Angola's natural resources necessarily. It's about the Congolese ones. Did
you guys hear this? So the corridor is not about Angola itself. Angola is the one closest to the Atlantic Ocean. This is about the Congolese mineral resources. So it sounds like everybody's stealing from the Congo. So this is about Congo.
DRC, and potentially if there's a branch line to Zambia and the Zambian copper belt. I think the big question isn't about diversion, because it's not. What I'm arguing is that this corridor is actually going to be used by the Chinese and the Canadians in the short term more than anybody from the United States. And the Chinese mined minerals will probably go to the global market, and the United States might buy some of that, but so will China, potentially even South Africa. Who knows? I think
so. South Africa, he's telling on all the countries that will benefit. So Angola got the ports, Congo got the minerals, and Zambia. So
the biggest concern that I have about this corridor and the investment is that it is just the extraction of raw materials, and that's the point. It should be about where's the value addition, where's the smelting. This is about keeping more money and creating more jobs in Africa, rather than taking the natural resources of Africa and just sending them to China or Russia or the European Union or the United States. That doesn't make any sense to me. And that's the weakness of this particular initiative.
wow. Did you guys think is the white man correct in his assessment? So he's like, hey, this is about taking out, raw materials. So do you guys think the Africans getting the short end of the stick here, or this is helping them? Like, should Angola, be excited as they are about this? I have Ola in the house, and the link is in the chat, guys. Feel free to hit the link. Ola, welcome to the Afridamus Report.
Oh, thank you, Afridamus.
Ola, what do you think about this lobito corridor that Joe Biden went to Angola about? What do you think about this initiative? Because it's still the same route from the colonial times, but now the Africans are part of it. They are able to decide, who they can play with, who they don't want to play with. Angola left the OPEC and they improved. Let me hear your point of view about Biden sleeping too.
Yeah, thank you for that. You see, what you're seeing now is a reinvention of, I can't call it colonialism, but kind of like they try to play some kind of softball with the Africans, right? With the Congolese again. You see,
Yes.
Congo will never become a stable nation or a stable country. Sure, they will always find a way to destabilize Congo, because the majority of people that form that Congolese as a country have what called traitor blood inside them. Starting for a very long time. So
So you're saying this is the same like the scramble?
Yeah, the same thing like the same like when King Lopez came to that place, right?
Mhm.
When King Lopez came to that place of Belgium. Sorry, if you go to Belgium, there's a place whereby if you go to Belgium, if you cross from the Dutch to the Belgian territory, right, you're going out straight to not to Brussels, but you're going straight to what they call the French-speaking side of the Belgium, right? You see a light. That light is like a dead. In the night, it's like a daylight. You don't need to own your car light for you to drive almost about 100 kilometers before you get to a place called Luc. You understand me? Or the other place called Luc in French. So you see where Mobutu Sese Seko money went to when he was stealing the money, banking it in Belgium. You understand me? You see the Congolese money in development of Belgium in terms of their city tram and all those things. You understand me? So what you're seeing now, right? The Chinese is already there in Congo doing the same thing what the white people did in the past.
Right, and because the Chinese, they revived the old colonial railroads, and things are moving faster. So this is what Joe Biden went there to counter, and because instead of aid, you see the Angolans are saying we are open for business. Do you think Angola? Like, do you think Angola is doing this for the benefit of their people, or this is just still like the old slavery time?
Look, the Congolese and the Angolas, right?
Right.
They are the same type of people.
Yes.
It would benefit them, the elite. Like what happened with the Souza that they drove out of power, when his own daughter was the richest woman in Africa as a whole.
Oh yeah. Uh-huh.
So what you're saying now is like the same route they wanted to try to form more the Chinese is already using that route. You have to understand the biggest investor in Angola is Chinese, building those apartments, building roads, building all kind of things for the Angolas. If you check the Congo, the Chinese is already there. So what the Europeans are doing, they're not there to counter anything. It's just too late to counter anything. They want to systematically come in and be into that market also, shipping like the way the Chinese also ship it. So what they try to do, they want to have their own portion of that minerals, which is vast land will belong to them, while the Chinese also control the other side. They're not ready to fight the Chinese. They're not ready to do nothing. This is a purely business, and it's a game against the Africans. These so-called Angolas, you see,
the Arabs are there too. You saw Steve Harvey went to Zambia. He was sent there by UAE. So it's a lot of different players. Do you think the Chinese eventually would collaborate and agree? All of them agree.
Yes.
Agree to how to portion the minerals in Africa, in that region.
Big time. The Chinese will work with the Europeans. You have to understand, the Chinese also have no lost love for the Africans, also for the dark man. You understand me? So what you're seeing now, they say they're coming to encounter the Chinese. You have to understand the Europeans are very good at using wares. You understand me? They will use all kind of nice wares and everything to sell to their own public. It's just like with the French were shipping the slave from Africa, and they want to say the reason why they're shipping those slaves and why they're colonizing the Africans. They say the Africans are not really human beings. They have tails in back of their ass. So you see, they use words there to describe societies why they're doing it. The China man, the brown, the yellow man, we actually join with the Europeans and deal with and flog the Africans in their ass for being late to the classroom. You understand me? So what you don't have now, you don't have a principal, you don't have a teacher. Then what will happen? A China man will be by the gate, you understand me, by this so-called weak other African people from the elite class that is ruling that country, flogging the Africans. You have to understand, what you see now, Congo, this is not the first time they're taking advantage of the Congo. When the Ashanti Empire was already reigning during the time of the Gold Coast, that's what you see in Ghana. You understand me? Ghana have a lot of blood of the Congolese inside them, especially the Ashanti, because they were using these Congolese as kind of like gold diggers to be digging gold for the Ashanti.
At the gold mines?
At the gold mines. You understand me? That's what I want to say.
But the Ashantis conquered them before?
They are so-called queen at that time. Ship a lot, because you want to make gold, you want to also have some gold. So it shipped some people down to Ghana, because Ghana cannot use these other local tribes that they were already defeated and as being used as a slave. You also, the Ashanti was already fighting wars, so they were losing their men. So what they have to do, that's why in Ashanti tradition, you have the woman side, you become an Ashanti by your mother, not by your father. You understand me? Because they were taking some of these slaves, they were taking a lot of these people and start using it to marry the Ashanti women. When these Ashanti women started giving birth, the children then become Ashanti. So the Congolese was always being used as part of a chicken in a jollof rice. You understand me? To be eaten. When that plate is being served on top of the table, you see the peel, you see the carrot, the Congolese will now become the chicken now. You understand me? So what you see now is the Congolese not just become the chicken, they're now bringing their own brothers, which is the Angola, to start serving the plate, so that the Congolese can also be eaten and could be eaten perfectly.
Well, Kidola, are you saying this is still, because you remember when you read the books about like the transatlantic slave trade, that same port, at that Angolan port, was a major player in shipping out people and commodities, out of that region.
Do you know why they went to Angola? The West always go to a country that's already very, very corrupt. Angola is a very, very highly corrupt country. They push the other man out. They want to be like the other man. The Congolese is already kind of like a complicated country, very confused set of people. If you see, even down to West Africa, Tinubu is like their puppet now. You understand me? The other man in Ghana
Who is whose puppet?
Tinubu is a Western puppet. It's a puppet to the Western people. The Ghana man is also a puppet. So what you see now, they try to form what we call puppet type of government, where they will succeed against the China man is when they start promising this puppet government that they will be driving Cadillac, they'll be driving private jet. You understand me? And you can buy a house in Malibu and anywhere. You understand me? But
Wait, the African leaders, they will still trust that?
They're not there yet because the African leaders have tasted what we call sugar. You understand me? The sugar that the China man have been giving to African leaders is too much. So the African leader cannot do away without that sugar. The Western countries have no money like that because the African leader will be scared of their people overthrowing them. So it will not be the period of coup coming back again. You see, so these African puppet democracy leaders, they'll be very, very scared because the United States play what called old policy system that is not actually existed anymore. The China man is now on top of their game. What the China man did, the China man came with a bag of sugar and feed these African leaders with that heavy bag of sugar. So that sugar actually be distributed to the that we see a lot of development in some African countries, all that type of things, TV, all kind of things. So we're not waiting to buy K Wood, you don't wait to buy Amos jeans, you're not waiting to buy like Philip, you know where to buy some of these European products. So if you go to Africa now, you can get a cheap TV, 80 each is very cheap. You can get any other type of things is very, very cheap. So for you to defeat the China man in Africa, it will be very, very difficult because the China man have the money, have the firepower. The Americans have no such see the French is already dead in Sahel anyway. The French have no power anymore with Burkina Faso, Mali.
But they got Tinubu. Tinubu is gonna give them way to the Sahel.
No, Tinubu can't do that. Tinubu is look the other brothers of the Sahel, which is the Hausa and the Fulani, already from a buffer zone against Tinubu. Tinubu have nowhere to get to. Tinubu just play what they call "I love you, you love me" type of game. You understand me? It's play what we call the nice guy, but in the real sense, Tinubu have no power to do anything. He will just dance with them. It's
croissant.
Eat garlic bread. You understand me? With some salad.
Yeah.
You understand me? Then after that, we tell them later, freshman, I'm very sorry. I've been eating this garlic bread for a very long time. I think I have to suffer, go back to my jollof rice and my amala with egusi soup. That's what you hear later.
Thank you, Ola. Let's bring Gwe. We'll be back to you. Gwe, welcome to the Afridamus Report.
Hey, Afridamus, how you doing?
I am well. How about yourself?
I'm doing good.
So, Gwe, what is your take on Biden's visit to Angola? You saw him. He's over there. The African leaders were praising him. But, little did we know this is what happened here. Did you get to see it?
Yeah.
Right here. See?
I always. Oh, he was sleeping. Yeah, I saw that. Joe Biden don't care. Because African leadership would never. It's like that's why I always say only a few countries in Africa will become successful because the African leadership in Africa hates the Africans. These people are nothing.
So you don't. So this initiative where they want to, they're building these railroads. Did you know this existed? And it existed just to collect, the minerals
exactly
out of the Congo DRC, Zambia, and through the Angolan port. The crazy thing is this port it was a slave port also.
Exactly.
So what do you make of their president? He said it's open for business.
Of course he is.
Nobody, he can do it with China.
Yeah, of course he is.
With the highest bidder. What do you think about it?
Yeah, because whether it be the Chinese, whether it be the Europeans, whether it be the USA.
Yeah, they gotta do business somehow.
Or even Russia. It's the same routine. Whoever pays them, they are willing to take the money. That's what you see every time one of these African leaders are overthrown and you go in the houses, there's a whole bunch of money that's in there. Plus they take the money and they keep it in the Swiss bank. And then when they die, they leave all that money there.
So you don't think the Angolan president, with all the money that is coming to Angola, you don't think it would trickle down to the people?
No, 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 no. These people are nothing but sellout Afrodamis. These people don't really care about the average uh, African that is suffering, that living in these villages, that need to think about, oh, we need to develop these villages. In Africa, it doesn't cost a lot of money to develop Africa, you know, but it's not the fact that the fact that they can do it, they chose not to. They chose to keep themselves, the inner circle, their kids, their friends' kids, going to these good schools while the school system in Africa is
Oh
corrupt.
man, so Gwe, so then that means you would disagree with my take to say I think the Africans are smarter now. Do you think I'm jumping the gun?
Yes, you are. The African leadership, especially like when you see, okay, like you see what Ibrahim Traore did in
Oh
Burkina
yeah, they don't like him.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
that's what you call an African who has waking up. You know, like that's not. I'm not saying there's not never going to be corruption everywhere, but it's the way that the African leadership does it. They do it so overtly that the rest of the people, about 99.9% of the people in the country, are suffering, and only that top percentage is enjoying in the country. The country is still underdeveloped. People can't find food to eat. You know, kids are suffering on drugs and stuff like that. So it's like it's the same old routine. So when you see an African leader that looking for the best interest of their people, you notice that the West is always against that country. That country becomes the enemy.
But Gwe, a lot of Angolans, they eating good. I heard they eating steak over there. They're going to restaurants.
What's the
I mean,
percentage? What's the percentage? Anytime you
yeah.
look at a country, you got to look at is the vast majority in the people in the country are doing good. We
No,
just
majority only live
I
off of
doubt that.
$2 a day.
But there you go. I mean, I bet you the leadership in the country is not having $2 a day to eat, though.
Yes.
You
And
know, so these
you know
people
what shocked me? Before this, Angola, when you read about their human rights record, it's not good. But how come Joe Biden did not talk about that?
because that's not what they're there for. They're there for the minerals. Angola is corrupt, super corrupt. They've been corrupt for a long time. You know, so like what up here, the Americans, the Chinese, the Russians, you know, the Europeans, none of these people are there to help Africa become better. These people are just there to get what they can get and the natural resources that they need out of those places so they can make their country better, which that's what most leaders would do. But unlike the African man who is very stupid, idiotic, money driven, and hate their own people, they're willing to sell out their people, you know, for to these people for the money. You know, you look at some of the African leadership. Let's be honest, Afridamis. A lot of them are there because if the Americans can protect them to stay in power for the next 20 or 30 years, they will sell out. You know,
What they are, it's funny you said that.
yeah.
They are requesting security.
There you go.
rights.
You and I both know what that means, right? You know, they got the elections has to be rigged, you know, so that they can stay in power. Nobody else can win.
But Angola's
You know?
these presidents, they look like they are honest. He's wearing a nice suit.
Of course, you know, of course, you know, they got to come looking well dressed, you know, speak the right language, say the right things, you know. That's how you sell out your own people, you know. So that's what I'm saying. I said when you see an African leadership who willing to change, the West is usually against them. You know, Europe is usually against them. You know, that's when they become all of this stuff. Oh, he's a dictator. Anytime you see them attacking countries, that because that country is not doing what they want. So that's why they mad. You know, you can't come here, put your ship here, and then siphon all the natural resources to your country, and then keep calling Africa poor because you want to keep it poor. You need to keep it like that so you can keep benefiting for your country. But you don't blame these people at all. You blame the African.
You got to represent your people.
Exactly. You blame the African man who is selling out Africans. You know, so I mean, I don't hold them accountable for anything. I hold African leadership accountable for a lot of the nonsense that's happening in Africa. These people are corrupt. These people are just there for their own self-interest. It's the typical black man. It don't matter where you go around the world. They do the same thing to each other. And they want to be blaming colonialism and all this other nonsense when you're selling out your own people. So Angola been corrupt for a long time. They ain't gonna change.
Oh
You know,
man,
they got gold. That's one of they got really good gold over there. So Americans gotta come get their share too. They want to keep their country the first war. So what do you expect them to do? They gotta come get their best interest. Now they can't go to other countries like Mali or Burkina Faso or anything because these people have waking up and seeing through the nonsense. So they gotta go to the other African leadership that are corrupt and use them and to benefit their own people. So if you, the African man, can see that, and all you see is for you to stay in power, like your daddy is the only one that own the country, and you got to stay there for the next 20 years because you want to stay rich, get rich, keep your friend rich, keep your kids going to schools abroad while the school system in Africa is just deteriorating. That's what you do. Then you ask for protection. Because that the election is going to go rigged for the next 20 years and you're going to be in power like what's his name that was in Mugabe, and then when you leave, you want to put your wife there. So I mean, it's a typical routine. So like for me,
we'll hope.
A lot of Africans get mad when people say that, especially when you say the truth about what's going on in Africa. People don't want to see. I can give credit to countries who are doing the right thing. But for the continent itself, it's a bunch of sellouts that's there.
Man, the Pan-Africans wouldn't like this.
Of course, they're not gonna like it because it's the truth. Nobody else is selling us out besides our leadership. That's the truth.
Well,
if the house don't sell you, the street will never buy you.
That's true.
So like, there's nothing you can do about that. The America, Europe, and Russia and China, they're not coming in Africa guns blazing. They're not doing coups no more.
Right.
They're coming in and they know these leaders are corrupt and they know these people will sell out their people for little or nothing so that they can stay in power, stay corrupt, and stay benefit just them and the elite circle. And so they're coming and giving them the money because they know the African leadership don't care for Africans. The vast majority of Africans are not careful about their leadership. So that's how they're doing that.
Thank you. We'll bring you back again. Wasami, welcome to the Afridamus Report.
Hello, Afridamus. Long time no speak.
I know. Wasami, what do you make of this lobito corridor, siphoning, resources out of the Congo? I don't know if we can even call it that because the Congolese president is in the meeting. So it seems that Congo has the resources, Angola has the port. It seems like the same routine. What do you make of it?
Well, I mean, the corridor represents a significant, depending on how they utilize this, it represents a significant opportunity for all three countries to boost their economic, enhance their trade, and reduce reliance on just the domination of Chinese supply chain. So it all depends on how they navigate this process. Like the young lady before me was saying, a lot of the African leadership seems incompetent. So this might just be like any other plundering that happened in Africa, like you said initially about the slave port. So if they were not transferring humans now, they're transferring raw materials, or so either way they're plundering Africa.
So despite this, because okay, what if somebody makes the argument and say, yes, in 1884, the Europeans met, they had a meeting, they sliced up these territories, the Africans weren't part of it, they backstabbed the Africans. Someone can say that, right? And get away with it. But like today, we even saw the tape. We are seeing those African leaders who are supposedly their countries are being plundered. They are part of this meeting. They are saying they are open for business. Do you think maybe the African is looking forward now? They want to share, what the land is endowed with.
Well, it's a double-edged sword, right? So the thing is, you have to do business because the raw material that are we don't have any buyers in Africa. The raw materials is for the first world countries. They're building electric vehicles. They're utilizing it on high technology. They're trying to go clean energy. So all these countries that are utilizing these materials, we don't have any use for them. So we have to go to the market. Yeah, we have to go to the market where we can get the highest pay. So it looks like, from what I gather, China has invested $7 billion. America right now, with its 600 million, is totaling 4 billion. So, and the rest of the Western countries are also contributing. So they're gonna need their money back somehow. So they're gonna do what they can to compete with China and get the better deals. So the good thing about this situation is it might open a pathway for us to build infrastructure, and maybe they can put some maybe they can talk to the geopolitical, or they can speak about the geopolitical instability that's going on right now in DRC, in the eastern side. So maybe they can cool that down if they want to have a stable infrastructure and a peaceful area for them to transport all their goods.
But do you think stopping the chaos would be in their benefit? Don't they need that chaos to happen for them to get the raw materials, way cheaper, basically being able to enslave the people?
I mean, they might be playing 3D chess. I don't know. They might need that chaos in order for them to even create more unaccountability, and charge more, to say that, hey, this place is
dangerous,
unstable, therefore I'm going to charge you more for me to transport stuff. I need security, I need to do all these other things. And you might be right, but depending on how they manage the situation, they can actually come out of it ahead, if they are. But history tells us they won't come ahead of it ahead. So
thank you. Let's bring in Kato. Kato, welcome to the Afridamus Report.
Yeah, thanks for welcoming me.
No problem. Kato, what do you want to say, about Joe Biden's visit, about this mineral resource competition between the West and China, in this region? I mean, they're getting the mineral resources from Congo, shipping it through Angola. So it's like 3 countries or 4. They in a way, it looks like they are benefiting. How do you see it?
All right. So first, before I speak on this matter, I want to apologize for what I said during the last show. I was wrong about Godfrey. I did some research on him. I got to know that he's actually been talking about Nigeria all along. So I was wrong for him for saying that he have not been talking about Nigeria.
Yeah.
So my idea on this is very, very straightforward. In order for Africa or Africans, I've already done some thorough thought on it. There are times that whole night I thought on it. I said, how will Africans be liberated? Africans, there is no way. We cannot pity our way. I want to say something, and I'm coming on what you say, but I'm getting to that point, right?
Okay.
So the visit that Joe Biden went, I know very well, and I know everyone on this panel know very well that Joe Biden and the Americans, the US, even China and Russia, that would like to say that they are our friends. All of these people, they all are not. They all have ulterior motives.
Right.
We know that the only reason they come to Africa is to take advantage of us. That's the only reason they come here. They don't really care about Africans like that.
But Kedo, didn't you hear the president? Kedo, the president said it's about business. They're not looking for friends. You don't believe it?
First of all, history have taught us that Europeans, every action Europeans bring towards Africa is almost similar, like the devil. They come to steal, kill, and destroy. So
you don't trust them?
I don't trust. It's very, very difficult. In fact, is when a European tell me the time is 6 o'clock, I have to look at the time. I'm not I'm not trying to be racist, right? They are good white people. They are good Europeans. But most of the time, our encounters with them, we already know very well that the Americans, all those people, all those rich countries around the world.
they are there to counter China. And do you trust the Chinese?
I don't trust Chinese. Absolutely 0%. I don't trust Chinese. I know very, very, very well, 100% that Xi Jinping. In fact, look at I watched a video about in this country, in was it Zambia or Congo, when you hear some of the Chinese workers talking about Africans saying some racist thing, saying that how Africans are inferior to them. They were saying it. They say that They are saying that Africans are. They say that they are just there for people to just come and just use. He was saying it.
So
I
do you
watched a
think
video like that.
that's their attitude when they are coming to discuss this important business with the Africans, the leaders?
That's the attitude. That's the attitude. And I wanted to say something from the beginning. In order for Africans to be free, there need to be war. There is not a way that will be free by them. All of those things are just those are just tactics used by those people. The only way will be free is through war. There's no other way. In fact, even Europeans have said it. They said that in order for them to let go, they say what they are doing now to us and what they are doing to the world now. I follow a lot of Europeans. I follow some of that. There are some leaked videos out there that I watched. What they are doing now to us and what they are doing to the world. Before they will not agree to let it go like that. Before it stops, there have to be war. The reason why, in fact, one of the things I gotta know why hunger is in, why we have from many African countries have hunger, have a lot of problems. It is because of those Europeans. It is because of those countries. China, America, or even I can bet you, if you even do some thorough check, search, perhaps China hand will be in it. The Middle Easterners, those Arabs people, if those Arabs, they are very jealous of Africans. They are super jealous of black Africans. Those people you see talk of the United Arab Emirates talking about how they like Ibrahim Traore, they are sending support. All of them are all playing.
So what speaking of the UAE, you know who Steve Harvey is? The comedian.
I know Steve Harvey very well.
So what do you make of Steve Harvey? He went to Zambia to meet the president, and he said he was sent there by the UAE. So what do you make of that? Like, do you think they're, sending famous black people in America to put the Africans to sleep, those leaders?
It could be. And like, there have been the history have shown that to us, but I don't know about the case 100%, so I can't say 100% on it like that they sent him, but it is possible.
Well, he said he was sent there.
Yes, so it is possible that they are using it as a pawn.
Okay, all right, continue. Go ahead.
After you see, sending that man there,
yeah,
you don't actually understand. That guy is a comedian, right?
Right.
And being a comedian, somehow you can't even take that guy serious. Sometimes I saw that he came to Zambia, he was holding a very tiny portfolio. You see me? The portfolio was so tiny that the man look, that dude have no what you call political repertoire.
Well, he said he's bringing opportunity up to get the Africans to help them, into acting, bring in jobs. Why are you laughing?
You should have asked him how much to pay him.
Because
he said there's a lot of money to be made.
Of course, there's a lot of money to be made. Once you do, I mean, first of all, he's not African, so he doesn't care about the people over there. All he cares about what they're paying him to go do.
He was in Ghana.
After that was Black America.
No, the Ghanaian president is a puppet. He's nothing but a puppet for the West.
After that was Black America have no political how to do a deal. I think when the UE thought that they can send a celebrity to an African country like Zambia, who already experienced what we call colonial, who already experienced during the time the South Africa colonized them, the white people colonized them, they will listen to him. They will, even the Zambia people, they are very pissed at him. That why should Zambia government be receiving every Dika Hari, both the ones that are nobody because they are just celebrating somewhere in their country, They just bring them to the state house. You understand me? I see the
Yeah,
guy
but they're
just
welcoming them to the motherland,
Zambia, this sheep, that guy look like a West African dude. Look, one thing I said the black Americans have to this. Oh, I don't want to bring black Americans to this something.
Right.
Well, what you see, what is going on, right, is the Africans are looking for money. The Africans don't want to just deal with the Chinese alone. So what they're doing, they're opening up their own opportunity. You understand me? But these Africans, are they doing it for the interest of their own country?
No.
Hell no. They're doing it for their own interest, for the enrichment of their own selves. Because some of them want to drive what we call private jet. Because they be seeing Davido nowadays flying a private jet. You understand me? They want to have their own private jet. Not your private jet alone. They also want to have what we call the pack private jet. See, African leaders are just like the slave dealers of African kings those days. You understand? It's the same mentality. You understand me? So what all these things you're seeing now is how will the Africa play out this game?
But
Yes.
Ola, what do you make of, because okay, you seeing that line, the corridor. So, but the plan, this is like the initial plan, but this is going to connect all the way, to Lagos.
Yeah,
That's the plan.
yeah, yes. But
What do you make of, like, they're gonna connect that route from the DRC, Angola to, all the way to Lagos,
yes,
Dakar,
yeah. You see, this where the Russia. You see, the whole connection of that road.
Do you think that would be beneficial to the Africans, helping or to be able to trade with each other?
Depends how they play their own card. If you play for the interest of your country, you will become very rich. Look at Norway. Norway is a small country, but very, very rich with the oil. You understand me? Nigeria is a very big country, but very poor with the oil. You understand me? Because we have leaders who sit on top of that power, but they just want to swallow and have billions of dollars being hung somewhere in Switzerland they cannot actually retrieve anymore. You understand me? So what you can see what happened to the guy of Egypt when he died. His children could not even, hand was not able to get to the money of their father in Swiss bank.
Mubarak?
Yeah, Mubarak. You understand me? You see, they are like, okay, I need 400 million. This was happening will allow them to carry a portfolio and bring this money to there. But to pick the real billions there is very, very difficult. So depending on the Africans, play their game. With the China man there, you see, now will be competition between the Europeans and the China man.
Yes, that's why Joe Biden went there.
Yeah, but that's where the Africans will a little bit understand, okay, we can gain here. We can play these two people against themselves. I understand the China man can sit, because the China man know how to do business. They know how to sit you down. The Europeans also good at it, but the black man will never trust the Europeans because they have already dealt with them. They know who they are. They know how they come very corny. After that much, let me just tell you one thing. If you go to where is Mobutu Seseko today, the Congolese guy, he died as a pig, be buried as a pig in Morocco. You understand me? He brought all kind of shit to his country. Even Ebola was even being tested in his own country. You understand me? Mobutu Seseko, to stay in power, he developed other countries in especially their slave master country called Belgium. If you go to Belgium today, right, you just sit in one of these cafes in Belgium, just look around, the Congolese that will come in there. Sometimes they look like people that are very confused. You understand me? You see that they will sit and they are very scared. There's nothing like confidence in them at all. Even in Belgium, where their own minerals, whatever they took away from Congo to develop Belgium, actually don't belong to them. You understand me? If even they sit in a cafe, the owners are very hostile to them. There's nothing like say freedom on their head. Doesn't mean so you come to a country they allow you to sleep on your iron bed and you go to work and get a job under the fabric and all that is that you're a human being. You understand me? But when you look at Belgium, what Congolese money did there, you will shake your head. That's why I give you an example. You can drive about 100 or something kilometers all the way from the Dutch border to inside Belgium. You will see a street light. That street light was being constructed by Congolese, whatever they took for Congo. You will not own your headlight of a car. That means you'll be seeing daylight in nighttime. You'll be seeing daylight in nighttime. You understand me?
Congo. Do you think at this point the Africans, they don't you think they've learned, they've seen from Mobutu and others. Now they want to make Africa great. You don't think so?
Africa might have Africa. Just let me give this 2 seconds before I give it to Gob. Africa, my head is like a gorilla head. You understand me? Because let me just you see these African leaders, right? If you put them inside an AC, you understand me? You put them inside an AC and let them walk and tell them the marble you are walking on is called blue pearl marble. The African man will look at it heavy, say, this is blue pearl marble. You see, yeah, the dining table you're sitting on is made out of diamond. And the chair is made out of a special stick that is only the 1% can have. The African man will value some of these things more than his own interest, the country interest, because he would like to sit there and take picture there and send the picture to his friends back home and say, look, I'm now sitting with these people with the ties is blue pearl ties. You
So,
me?
so do you think they are offended that Joe Biden sat in front of them sleeping while they were praising him?
No, they even like it. They're thinking about the money.
Right.
They don't feel disrespected?
No. The African ever feel disrespected?
Afrodamas is crazy. Did you say feel disrespected? For what? They're selling out their own people. How can you be more like, how can you even like surpass that? These are people that are selling out their own people already. The mines that are in Congo, what they've been fighting for so many years, decades. You think that the president that is in Congo cannot tell the Chinese or the Russian or the Americans or the Europeans, like, you need to bring the material that will get these minerals out of the ground. Instead, they're using kids. Their kids dying in their mines. You think they care?
Well, they got machines
I mean, they do, but still, there's still kids then working on that mines. When you can have way more development with the machine and the advancement of machinery to get those things, so what kids don't have to go to the mines and die in there. You think the African men care about the kids that are dying in the mines? No, because why? It's not their kids. Their kids are abroad. Their kids are going to school in Europe and America and Asia. So I mean, they don't care about. That's the thing. This one, they cannot blame it on the white man. The white people has nothing to do with this. The white man is just.
But they are trading. You guys don't think the Africans are smart? Kaizo is here. Kaizo, call in. Kaizo is probably upset that Joe Biden did not come to Kenya. Kaizo hit the link. Kaizo said, you guys are delusional. How the kids, gonna feed their families?
Which families?
Their mom, Kaizo call in so you can.
Also, they got to go die in the mines so that they can feed their family. How does that work?
I don't think he understands, though. I don't think he understands the mining laws. Hello?
Yes, they don't even have laws in this country for mining.
So that's what I'm saying. No, that's what I'm saying. I'm agreeing with you.
Right.
I'm saying they don't even have the mental capacity to say to them, hey, let's not have such a dismal mining laws or the lack of, you know what I mean? That's how far behind they are. Let alone you're talking about resources being taken from them. They can't even get their act together to keep their mining forces from not dying. You know what I mean?
Right.
I will shortly are coming. Yeah. So what I was saying previously, in Liberia, the last time I was in a conversation with some guys, and it was saying that the government is like a running river that have to do with like when it comes to everybody thinking the same way. If you put your foot in that river will carry every one of you. So is what we're trying to say is if you're a person who wants to do the right thing and you go into the government, there are a bunch of people that are working together to do the wrong thing. So if you go there to do the right thing, they will over to get rid of you. That's one of the problems I noticed in Africa and many African governments. So when a person wants to get into power and make a change, there are a lot of things that need to be done because We are talking it like this, right? But we all know things start to work from the head. And there's a Liberian parable that says the fish gets rotten from the head. So, in order for any African country to do better, it has to start from the head. So,
Yeah, but they have to
for
appoint these people.
yeah, it has to start from the head. And our major problems now, our leaders. One. Let me just say one of our major problems. One of our major problems in almost every African countries and almost every African I know. Once you ask them, why is the problem of your country to tell you is leadership problem? Why is the problem of your country leadership problem? So that we need to have a leader that will rise up to the West. And there are several reasons why you don't have that. One of the reasons is intimidation. The West have intimidated us with all of their military powers to make us to know that they are military superior to us. So that's why our leaders, when they get there, they say, "Who's going to go against the white man? Who's going to go against the white man?" So
That
they say,
sounds like being a coward.
since,
That's what that sounds
since
like.
I'm not going against the white
You
man,
know,
let me just steal money from my family, and we just enjoy. That's their thought. Unlike Ibrahim Traore and others who are setting examples. So
That is cowardly.
we need leaders with lion mentality.
What?
let's
Who will
let's
even
let's let's bring in Kaizo.
Hold on,
Let's.
hold on. Avradamas, I didn't get to say my piece. I think we
Uh,
skipped over.
oh, okay.
Okay, quickly. I think you asked me initially, like, what would we do in order to avoid a secondary, or this time I can't even keep count, another exploitation, right? So to avoid exploitation, I mean, these are simple things. I know this. You know this. Everybody on this panel knows this. Like, all you have to do is ensure that the corridor deals and related investment genuinely benefit the nation, right? All the nations that are involved, the three nations. So strategic steps would be enhancing regional cooperation, governance, leveraging their collective bargaining power, transparent contracts, independent oversight, combating corruption. I mean, these are simple things that we know will lead to a better deal. So negotiations, they can be, over sovereignty, do a value addition by creating manufacturing centers, royalties, exporting taxes, diversifying their economy. So by doing all these steps, they can transform this project to be an engine, for sustainable development rather than just be, see history repeat itself. So I mean, these simple things can be done that we all know sitting here. We all don't have economic degrees, or at least I don't. So, but we know what to do. Is the thing is there is no will. It's not about knowing what to do.
Well,
They
those
don't have the
leaders look
will.
smart.
Of
I'm
course, they're
sorry.
wearing a nice suit.
I
You
said they
know,
look smart.
you laugh. They're wearing a nice suit. They look presentable. So what are you supposed to dress like a doormat? To nah, they're gonna be nice looking. That's not just still.
Yes,
And you
exactly.
can't say the white man again, right? Because this is
Thank
the
you. That's
Asian
the
man.
thing.
Asian
They
man.
cannot blame the white people anymore.
Yeah, because now the Asian man is getting into the deal as well. So
And the
it's a
Russian man
lack
too.
of. Yeah, it's the lack of the black man now. That's the issue. It's not about, you can't just keep naming other men. The world is all about competition. So this idea that somehow you're friends with somebody, you're not friends with it, that all these things mean nothing.
Well,
There
they're
is no
doing it
friendship.
the right way now. They're not taking sides. They're just going with. They are open for business.
Yes, they are.
Let's bring in Kaizo. Kaizo, are you there?
Shalom, I'm here,
So
brother.
Kaizo, how do you feel? Biden coming all the way, skipping Kenya, even though you guys, Ruto went to the White House, he tapped dance, and somehow they didn't even go to Kenya to talk about uh, this railroad. But what do you want to make of all this?
Yeah, this is because President Ruto, shout out to President, the Most High President. What issue is he talked to China to help start a bid for them to join BRICS. So America is clapping back right now because Kenya is trying to be two-faced. We as Kenyans should take one side, take the West side. Dealing with these Chinese and the Russians and all these $5 Europeans won't work for us. We are a Eurocentric country, and we need to keep it that way. So yes, unfortunately, Biden is hitting back at us Kenyans because we tried to work with the enemy, and that's the truth.
Yeah.
It's sad, but I just pray that we can, remember that we are America's people. We're not for the Chinese or the Russians.
Oh, okay. So you were saying that the people on the panel are delusional. What are they delusional about?
Right. So these people, right? Let me ask this panelists. Do you live in Africa? I've lived in Africa before. Do you guys live in Africa? No.
I have.
Yeah,
I don't live there anymore.
I currently
Right.
live in Africa now.
No, you don't probably anything, right? You don't live in Africa. You live in the soft bosom of the white man. And you're talking about removing jobs for kids. These kids have families to provide for. You start removing the jobs, giving robots. Who's the money going to go for? Rich, oligarchs who own the robots. So the kids need the jobs, guys. It's like you have a very short memory. The British Revolution in
the mining jobs.
Exactly.
I don't
the
think
mining
you
jobs
understand that.
for the
I can't-
children. Brother, one second, brother. You have to respect each
you
other.
are
my
even
brother.
wrong about that.
Let me
Hold on,
speak.
Kedo, let him speak.
That's okay, my brother, but we must, listen to each other. Listen, my brother. During the Industrial Revolution in British, do you know what happened? The children were working in the mines, right? We Africans are behind, and this is the natural order of things, right? These children have families to feed. You want to replace them with the robots? You sound just like these people saying, "Oh, diamonds are bad, blood diamonds. Let's make diamonds from labs." And guess who has the money? The Europeans. So stop these Eurocentric ideas that preventing us from making money. Rich, corrupt politicians will own the robots, and these children will not have a job. What you should be talking about is labor rights and labor laws for the miners and safety mechanisms. Whether they're children or adults does not matter. They're working a job to feed their families.
Guys, what do you make of these?
Can I talk on that subject, please?
Hold on 1 second. I wanted him
All
to
right.
answer this. Kaizo, so what do you make about this partnership? Like the raw materials, they gonna be coming from Zambia, DRC, and Angola got the ports for it to be shipped. And their presidents, all these presidents are at the table. Are the Africans being exploited? According to what most people would think, oh, they're just doing business.
They're doing business and they don't have enough to leverage. The problem is we don't have the ability, capability, the foresight, the mental rigidity for us to do anything and add value to these products. We can't even make a battery, a simple lead acid battery. How are we going to make something from cobalt or tantalite? We don't even have a single car manufacturing company. That Ghanaian one doesn't count, right? It's not real. It's just all stuff that
they
Europeans
have innocent
and
in
Chinese.
Nigeria.
Right, and who's buying it? 2 people, right? There's 2 people that have bought that car. It's not a real company. So the problem is, right, we as Africans love to blame. There's no way you can be exploited when you sign a contract that nobody forced you to sign. So this is a deal. We are not competent. We don't have leverage, so we sign bad deals. But honestly, Europeans are helping us. The only reason Africa is not like a mud hut S-hole is because Europeans have invested in our countries.
So you think these railroads are great, huh?
Can I say something?
Hold on. Let Kaizo speak.
100%. Without these railroads, how are we going to transport? Have you seen Congo? Congo right now don't even have real bicycles. They have these wooden things that have wheels on them, and they use the gravity to go down. That's the African technology right now. Wooden wheels on a bicycle that can't even be pedaled.
Wow. Okay, let me read this. Yaya King, thank you for the super chat. Yaya King said, "We as Africans must control our destiny. We have to create a good mindset and set standards. Incompetence is a major problem. We think we have friends, but nobody's our friend. Together we win." Why are Africans looking for friends? Yaya King, thank you for the super chat. And St. James said, Ruto got a $2 an hour for Kenyans. $2 an hour Kenyan. I guess.
Let me respond to that.
Wait, I'll let you. He said, I guess that that's the art of the deal. So the Kenyans got $2 an hour.
Let me comment on that quickly.
Thank you, Yaya King, for the super chat.
Yeah, thank you, brother James, for that comment. But here's the thing, right? Do you know the average African makes less than $170 a month? $2 an hour, that is actually above minimum wage. You're earning good. I stream on YouTube and I make $0. So this Kenyan earning $2 for just checking on AI is really good. Do it 10 hours a day. How many money do you think that is? That's a good living wage. So stop this idea, oh, $2 an hour. In Kenya, anybody would kill for that job. Those people are paid to do that interview on CNN, whatever it was, and that's it. Propaganda. $2 an hour. If I was being paid $2 an hour right now, and I was in Africa, I would be happy, bro.
Thank you. Okay, let's bring.
I'm coming. Let me just talk shortly on what he said quickly.
Okay, 30 seconds, and then we have Lord and Princess.
All right. So he talk of kids, right? You are asking whether someone live in Africa. I currently live in Africa. I'm a Liberian and I'm currently living in Nigeria right now. So what I want to tell you is when I was in Liberia, before I could come to Nigeria for my studies, I observed one thing. The kids that was in the streets and that was selling and doing other hustling, when they bring back the money, their parents don't send them to schools most of the time. Their parents use the money for other things. In fact, there were even commercials there were even commercials pertaining to those things on radios that was telling educating parents to not send their children in the street. Police were even going after those parents when they grab kids in the street, and kids are still doing it. Most African parents in Africa are, and not just in Liberia, I even notice it even in Nigeria here. Most African parents, when they send their children out to go and do things for them, there's those children, especially during school hours when they are supposed to be in school, they are in the street. They will bring the money back, and the main thing they're supposed to spend money on the children for, they don't do it. So when you even want to support the issue of kids is bad. If you want to talk of people not losing job, I think you talk that for adults. I think that is better. But when you talk about that for kids, especially when they're in the street doing school time hours, is actually wrong. So for adults, yeah, they should keep the job for the adults, but not for the kids, especially working during school hours. It's bad for their development.
So if they get a school degree in Africa, what job will they do? They'll be back on the street, cleaning the street. What's your point, my brother?
No. There are still job opportunities. Do you know the amount of people? I know Africa is not as developed as the other Western countries, but we should not keep pushing it too much bad narrative of Africa. I live in Africa. There are a lot of people in Africa who are working. A lot of job opportunities here. Even though Africa is not that developed as these other countries, there are people working in Africa here for $10,000 United States dollars, 20,000, 15,000, who are living in the best of houses, riding the best of cars.
Thank you, Kato. Let's bring Lord and Principal.
Yeah, what's up, Professor? How you doing? What's up, Kazo?
I'm well.
Shut up.
What do you want to add to this conversation?
Well, I say I like what Ola was saying, but I feel like overall the conversation is not giving respect to to a lot of the African leaders. A lot of the African leaders, as you notice, they're playing straight down the middle. They're not taking no sides, and we're not giving them credit for that. And a lot of people have, what I noticed, a lot of trauma towards old African leadership, and they're projecting it towards the current African leadership, and they're saying, oh, they ain't doing this, they ain't doing that. The fact that Joe Biden is even going over there to sit at the table is because they're not playing no sides. They're saying, I'm going to trade with Russia, I'm going to trade with China, I'm going to trade with whoever serve our interests. So you see that they're stronger in their posture, and a lot of us are like minimizing that because we have trauma from previous leaderships.
Right. I think that's a great point. What do you guys think about what he said there? Like, meaning, because
can I say something to you, Professor, too?
The problem is not the fact that the Joe Biden them is going over there to make the deal. There's a great opportunity if you can be able to, monopolize your minerals. The problem is that it's not helping the average African. So you can make all the deals with the Chinese and you're not taking sides and you're not doing all of that. That's great. How is that helping your country though? How is that making your country better? How is that making the development and creating jobs for your people better? You can't get African leadership credit for not doing anything just because they go sit at the table to take pictures, to look good, to say they're doing something. We have to see the results of that. And too many times in Africa, people want to give credit to people that don't produce results. It's crazy. Just because you go sit at the table with Chinese and Russians and Europeans and Americans doesn't mean you're productive. It just means you're good in the picture.
Right.
Can I ask you a question, Mimi? From 50 yeyears ago to now, you don't see no progression in these different.
It's not Mimi, it's Gwe.
Yeah, my name
Oh,
is.
Gwei, I'm sorry, Gwei. You don't
That's
see no
okay.
progress in terms of development, infrastructure, health in the last 50 years in these different nations and these different regions, and even in the leadership.
The problem is a lot of countries in Africa still the presidents, if they get sick, still have to fly to either Europe or America. Majority of them, not all of them, but they still have to fly either to the West to come and get medical checkup and stuff when they can be developing the medical system in their own country because those are necessity. You need that. You need safety. You need hospitals. You need the people. You need to bring infrastructure. You need to make your economy better for the people that's there. So
Well,
I'm
when
I'm not
people
I'm
are
not
bringing
opposed
in
to
money,
giving them
they will
credit.
start doing that.
I'm
We
not
can
opposed to giving them credit. What I'm opposed to is the fact that you're giving them credit for not having results instead of just, because they sit in a picture with Joe Biden and take picture and they're just happy just to be in the picture because the senile old man is dead and because he's the leader of the free world. That's it. You get credit for
Yeah,
results.
I didn't get that from that meeting. I get them saying that we want XYZ, even though we were sleeping. He was saying I want XYZ,
Yeah,
and
because you
we're
take
open to
African
whoever's going to give us XYZ. That's what he was saying. That's what the different
he
leaders.
was sleeping because he don't take African leadership serious. They're a bunch of sellouts. All you have to do is just give them the money and they're gonna do what they do best. Keep it in the European banks, take it to Switzerland and all of these other countries where when they die, they leave the money there. The children can't access it, the country can't access it, or anything. So instead of all giving credit for just being in picture or just sitting and having conversation, we need to get credit when we see results. And so far in Africa, we haven't seen that. So yeah, we can get Traore credit because we actually seen the results of what he's done in Africa. You can get the people in Mali credit because you've seen that. You can get credit to people that are not producing any type of results just because they're in picture or they're having conversation. Those are not results at all.
Oh, Lord Principal, you were gonna say something earlier.
Yeah, I was going to tell you. I was trying to advise you not to just say Biden. You have to say Chief Biden and Chief Steve Harvey, because
Oh,
Biden can take your black card, man. He's gonna take your black card. You know what I mean? He told Charlamagne he's gonna take his black card. So I was trying to tell you, be careful how you call him. You know what I mean?
Oh, we call him Chief now. That's what we're doing.
So Kaizo, are you there?
Yes.
So Kaizo, you hearing what they're saying? Do you think they are not giving the African leaders of today credit enough?
Yeah, that's a good question. So I agree with some parts of what the Haitian brother says, right? In the sense that African leaders are trying not to just take one side. They're trying to play both sides, China and America. However, the only issue I have with that strategy is you need to take a side ultimately, because if you don't, you're not going to be able to move forward. So I do think I like the fact they're thinking differently, but ultimately, Gwe is also right. We ain't seeing shit being developed yet. But I do want to reject a little bit of what Gwe is saying. Gwe, I think that's for the S-hole African countries. In Kenya, our medical system is great. So we don't have that issues. But obviously for Gambia and Liberia, all these S-hole countries,
Wait.
you need to go to America for hospital.
Why did you have to start with Gambia?
What I'm saying is that's the problem. You see,
Gambia actually, I did my master's
You are making
looking
a
at
point for
Gambia.
me. The idea that Africa
Only have
is
one hospital.
Africa is
No, they don't. I've heard you say that before, but it's not true.
Yeah, it's not true. The idea that Africa is the second largest continent in the world, I can guarantee you that it's not good 50% of Africa that has good hospitals at all. Because just need to go start a business over there. The bribing that you got to do, the money will be gone before you even start building a rock or something there. So that's another problem that's happening. The development can go there. It's just that the corruption is, you can't get past that.
In Kenya, we actually have Europeans coming here to do surgeries. We're actually one of the best in the world. We're not the same. This idea that Africa is a rock. Africa is not a country. Africa is not even a continent. It's a rock, right? So let's not compare Liberia, to Kenya. Kenya actually has Black Americans coming there to do forehead reconstruction surgeries. One of the best in the world. We are actually getting medical tourism in. Our president will never go to America for medical visits. In fact, Tanzanian president came, Magufuli, the late Kenya during COVID, to be treated in Kenya. So let's not compare each other. That's political. I can't comment on that.
Hold on,
I can't comment on that.
I
can't comment on that.
Where's he now?
I can't comment on that.
Wait, when he went to that visit, where's Magufuli now?
Yeah. Like,
that's
what I'm saying.
I
Some
can't
of these
comment.
Africans are just delusional, and sometimes you can't
what?
argue. Sometimes you
What?
can't
That's
argue.
political.
You can't argue with stupid. You just have to leave them to be stupid. Because like it's useless going back and forth. Because if somebody had a choice to pick to go to a hospital in Africa and America, of course they're taking Mayo Clinic in Minnesota because everybody fly from abroad to come to the Mayo Clinic in Minnesota, one of the best Mayo Clinic in the country. So knock that stuff off. Create better hospitals. You're not having transplant over there. There's no liver transplant. There's no kidney transplant. There is no eye transplant. There's none of that stuff going on in Africa.
In Kenya, we have all these things, sister. That's not.
But Kaizo, why aren't the African leaders going to Kenya?
Yeah,
they are going to Kenya. That's
no,
the
they're
thing.
not.
They are going to
No,
Kenya.
they're not. They're not going over there for major surgery like that. Stop lying.
Yes. Go on. 1 second, go on. Look, you're not educated in a lot of these stuff. I am. I'm actual scientist.
No, you're not. You're not educated.
PhD. I literally am. I also studied medicine, sister. So I can educate you on this, right?
No, you can't.
Sister.
I'm myself going to medical school. What the hell are you talking about? I work in the nursing field.
You're a nurse. I'm a doctor. Very big difference. Very big difference between a nurse and a doctor. Very big difference.
Don't act like you're so educated that it make you dumb, and that common sense doesn't even work with you. Knock that stuff off. Oh, I went to this. I went to that. Oh, Kenya is this. Kenya is that. It's Kenya in Africa. Kenya is still not one of the best countries in Africa. So knock it off.
Okay, sister, 1 second, sister, my beautiful, intelligent sister, Black Queen.
Don't insult me and then call me sister. That's disrespectful. Knock that stuff off.
So sister, sister, here's the thing, right? We have obviously basic surgeries. We've got all the sorts of transplants, cornea transplant for the eyes, and all that stuff. All these things exist. You're talking about maybe like some high-end research medicine that we don't have in Africa, but that's not something that affects the population. Africans need basic things like malaria drugs, like treatments. So what we have in Africa is suffice for the illnesses that we have in Africa. So this idea, apart from Gambia and Liberia, right? But in most of African countries, we have real hospitals, right? We have real surgeries. It's just Liberia and countries like that don't have this. So let's not put ourselves in the same boat. Some of us left the boat in West Africa. Some of us ain't never been on a boat. Some of us left on a plane. It's different, sister.
I didn't come on a boat. What the hell are you talking about? You sound stupid and dumb. I had a choice to come to America on a plane. The hell are you talking about?
Are you American Liberian or are you African Liberian?
Wait.
I am African Liberian. What are you talking about?
You were colonized by slaves, even worse.
We were colonized by, aren't they black?
Okay. Kaizo
wait. Afro-Damus, what is this thing about? Afro-Damus?
Yeah.
What is this whole thing about?
These are these people. Let me say this. Let me
address this, man. I'm coming. 1 minute. Afro-Damus, 1 minute. Wait. Joa, please give me 1 minute. Let me talk to him.
How you from Liberia? Can't even say my name. That is
all
crazy.
Right. So wait. 1 minute, please. I beg you. He wants to, maybe, I don't know, because of the previous conversation we're having, maybe it irritated him. That's why he's trying to attack Liberians like that, right? First of all, I know a lot of African histories. I don't want us to start to roast each other on this show now. It will be very bad. So trust me, do not try to go that route with us. What's his name again? I don't know, Kazu or what. Do not try to go that route. If you try to go that route, you actually don't feel good. You actually not feel good about it. But first, I want to let you know that we were colonized by America. We weren't colonized by the black people that went there. It was those black people that went there are beneficiaries. The ACS, what is the, first of all, America, from all know that history, America always like to do things indirectly. They don't like to put their names on things like that. Even the Philippines, the Philippines were colonized by America, right? But the Filipinos, but they did the history in a way that will make you to not really understand things. America, Liberia, even up to now, even Charles Taylor said it. Charles Taylor, who is an American Liberian, Charles Taylor said that if you do not listen to Washington, they will get rid of you. Charles Taylor said it. So you think the American Liberians are foolish? They know very well America created that place there to have their interest in Africa. So don't get it twisted. You do not know about, don't talk about something you probably don't really know much about. Do you know Liberian history? Or you just want to come and attack Liberians and maybe because of the previous,
I know
previous
General Butt
discussion we
Naked.
had?
I know
You
General
know,
Butt
once
Naked.
once one country in Africa, that's the problem with Africans. Once one country is doing good, they're okay with that. The rest of the people can suffer in the continent. They don't care, you know. But once my president is a sellout, once
But
Woto
can I
is
say something? Wait, you don't feel like every state is not equally yoked in America, but you don't have the same energy towards every state in America, yet you have this energy towards every nation in Africa?
yeah,
You don't
but
think that's an issue, like internal trauma?
most countries in America is doing very good. I mean, most states. Let's put it that way. Most states, most people that live in most states, yeah, they're not equal to yo because it's different in so many ways. What I'm saying is the problem we got in Africa is that until we can be honest with ourselves and talk about the real problem that in Africa and quit blaming the white man, Africa will never be developed. Yeah, one or two countries then will be there. They'll be good. Rwanda will be developed, Botswana will be developed, Mali will be developed, and these other places, Kenya will be developed. So yes, there are countries in Africa that will be developed. But when you're looking at places, anytime you're looking at anything, you look at the percentage. If you got only 2% of the people there that are having fun, enjoying, that means the rest of the people are suffering. So how do you change that? You don't just give credit because we got to give credit because, they go sit at a meeting with Joe Biden. No, you give credit based on results. And too much in Africa, people are giving credit to people that don't deserve it because they're not producing anything in Africa. Let's be honest. And this time you can blame the white man, you can blame colonialism because the Africans themselves are selling out their own people. Yeah, parts of Africa will be developed. Fine. I give credit to that. Kenya is very developed more than Liberia. We're developed. But that doesn't mean to say just because Kenya is developed, that means Africa is fine. That's my point I'm trying to make.
Yeah, Kaizo said they prefer being under the white man.
I mean, that's his point of view.
So Kaizo, not Chinese. So Kaizo, let me, guys, let's, we're going to do our closing.
Brother.
So
Brother.
who do you think in this mineral exploitation scramble, who's going to win eventually? The Westerners or the Chinese?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think the West is always going to win. The West first. These were the first people we made contact with. We know them, right? These Chinese and the Russians and Indians, no. These people have a hole in the ground where they used to defecate.
But
is that the kind of
one
people
of
you
your
want to work
people? Indians are tribes people in your country, right? But continue.
Indians do not run the economy. See, this is what I'm saying with other Africans who are jealous, right?
No, I'm saying they're
your
fellow tribes people.
I've heard of that propaganda. Yes, they are part of the 42.
I've met an Indian here, who like a nurse who said, is from Kenya. Just FYI.
Yeah, they're here. But Indians do not run the economy. Indians are a very small minority, less than 500,000 people, right? So the people own the economy of the Kikuyus, the Kisis, the Somalis, and those kinds of people, right? Indians are a very small minority. It's some propaganda because everybody wants to feel that Kenya is so beneath like everybody else. But we're rising right now. Liberia's GDP per capita. This is a money per person per year. It's
but
$700.
Why do you want to make this about Liberia, Kaizo?
Kenya is $2,500. You see, you can't even compare them.
Kenya is a lot bigger than Liberia. That's the very difference. Kenya is a lot bigger than Liberia in the first place. So you cannot, for you to be comparing your country to a small country like that shows how small your brain is. Because you're stupid.
My small brain.
You cannot compare Kenya to Liberia. You need to be comparing Kenya to other countries that are way.
Yeah.
Can we talk about the
That's what a
topic that we came
GDP
here
per
for?
capita means. Yeah.
Kenny,
One
who do
second.
you think is
Can we
gonna
talk
win?
about the topic we came
That's
here
why
for?
nobody watches a video. That's why nobody do, because it's the same propaganda. When you click on the thing, it's the same thing he's doing on YouTube. Think he's gonna get a lot of views. It's not working for him. So it's like just keep doing the same thing. Actually, talk about something that is productive, and then you will get people to watch your videos and get good argument there. Trying to sell out and be this person to say, oh, let the white people come and do this, come and do that, and we good honor this and honor that. That's not going to get you views, because you are not being authentic. You're just being fake and being a sellout. So nobody want to watch that. So all you can sit here and say all this stuff and compare to yourself to Liberia. That's good. You know, Kenya is way developed than Liberia. I would never disagree with that. But Kenya is a lot bigger than Liberia. And for you to compare yourself to a country like Liberia shows how very ignorant you are. You need to be comparing yourself to countries that are doing way better than Liberia. Way better. Find your equal and compare them to that. You know, talk about we want to be like the United States. We want to be the countries that are developed, that are way better. Don't compare yourself to some country to Liberia where it's still underneath the ground, still trying to develop. But because in Africa, it's always about tribalism and my side and your side. That's what made Africa is all fucked up. And it will stay that way until your monkeys can start having some brain cells that function.
Wow, you called us monkeys, sister. That's
Yes.
really mean.
Yes.
Sister, we're not
That's
monkeys. We're beautiful
You're
humans.
thinking like you're still in the jungle trying to fight among yourselves to get loose and get out. You are
Sister,
out.
that's really mean. You're hurting my feelings. It's not nice.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Thank you.
Don't get
So
your
guys,
feelings
let's
hurt.
do our closing statements. Let's start with Ola. Ola, who do you think is going to win in this mineral resource game, China or the Western people?
I think the China man will win. That's just the truth.
Ola, you're far from the mic.
I think the China man will win this competition.
round?
Because you see, the Europeans will soon come. You have to say the Europeans don't understand what you could say no. You understand me? When the Africans say no, the Europeans will say no. They will miscalculate the Africans and say, who are you to say no? You understand me? You know, they might even say you're a shithole. You see, so because the Europeans sort of lose themselves and think they're still in the past of the past. The Chinaman know how to praise. Look, the Chinaman know how to praise the Africans, and we would duplicate what the Europeans try to say to the Africans. As I say, mine is even the better one. Have you ever seen the Chinese cars nowadays? How fly they are, very strong.
Oh, China.
The Chinaman car is very strong nowadays.
Oh, they have them in Africa.
Yeah, they even copyright duplicate the G-Wagon and even make it far more better. You understand? Make it far more beautiful. So in Africa, if they can sell
And they sell it at the same price?
No. Their own is cheaper.
Yeah.
But
so it's good like.
No, but they build they're also very, very strong.
Huh.
You understand me? So you have to understand the China man is very good at doing anything. I think the China man have been there for a very long time. They have been singing the music to the Africans. I think the Europeans are still kind of like holding the whip, thinking the Africans are still like in the past. So things have changed in Africa. That's why I said what have changed in Africa. I understand some leaders. If you see the African leaders that try to dance to the European tunes, so that they look like fools. You know what I mean? Just imagine a Kenyan man send his own police officers or paramilitary to go to Haiti to quench
the gangs.
Barbecue over there.
Yeah.
Are they able to do anything now? No, because the barbecue is still enjoying his rice, is still enjoying his whatever it's enjoying. You understand me? Still controlling it. So the Ruto did it to please United States, but he almost looked like a fool. Okay, just imagine now, Obama is leaving power. Trump is not interested in Haiti. Haiti to Trump doesn't mean nothing because it's not nothing. Haiti have nothing for Trump to be interested about. You understand me? So what will happen to those soldiers now in Haiti? Will they have?
Are you saying the Kenya is not as smart as Kaizo is saying?
Oh no, because they play this game well. How can you send your forces second time of a leader Biden? You forget because you think they all badmouth Trump, make him look like he's not coming back again. Kamala is going to win. That will save you. You have to play your card very, very well. Now Biden is leaving, right?
Right.
Just imagine now, the focus will be now, can Kenya have a passageway, or are the Kenyans going to be treated like the way the Afghanistan treated the British during 80-something adventure, whereby the Afghan did give the the British a passageway. They pretend to give the that passageway, that they attack them. Will Kenya have such a luxury of having a passageway to board a plane, or did they think they can talk to the Dominican Republic and say, Dominican, please help us? Can we jump and run it into your border and escape from this?
So you're gonna run?
The KMA will run, but where is their escape route? I'm trying to talk about.
Oh,
the barbecue. Look, you have to understand. Haiti is a complicated country. What I'm saying this is that sometimes that's Africa. Sometimes we need to check African leaders. We need to check their breed. You understand me? You see, African leaders, African people are not different from any other Africans. Be you West or be you East. They like what's called the sink. You understand me? Give them the sink. Like place like Kenya, you can just give them a beautiful ugali and put some kind of roasted chicken on top of that ugali as their vegetable sauce, and serve them. And they will sit in the air with an AC, air conditioner, chilling one, with a very ice cold water on top of that table. The man will lose his mind and say, oh, God damn, where about that? Am I heaven? So what I'm trying to tell you is that most African leaders have no brain for them to think, how am I going to send far away from where I'm staying to send these paramilitary troops, how many of them, 1,000, to somewhere by the wife of the leader even assassinate his own husband. You understand me? Out of bribery. That you think the ones you're going to meet in Haiti, they will not sell you out? Man, they will sell you. You will even irritate them because they see that you are a traitor. You'll be used by the amigos to come and overthrow them. You understand me? So it doesn't make sense. The African man actually, throughout this thing, they will get some money in their pocket, but that money will not be used for anything. It will be used to build mansion for themselves. Because African leaders love to build single big mansion with a long fence and a lot of security man in the gate. They will not do nothing, do nothing with it. Look at Kenya. Look at Nigeria. They're all the same. Forget about this development. Kenya is more developed. Liberia just fought a brutal civil war for almost 20 years. The resources is not too there like that. It's there, but it's not yet heavily being used yet. You understand me? So whoever Africa, we're all in the same hole together. Yes, our leaders are Mu. Look at this guy that just came. Everybody thought he would do so because
the man who's got ugali on his brain is telling us they are doing medical surgery. Do you believe this?
They are. Oh, that's what I'm saying. You're not talking about they doing eye surgery. They're doing
ugali brain.
You see, Kaizo just came here to throw. You would ask Kaizo, how many ugali have you eaten or sapaches, the Indian food? Because he said the Indians are propaganda in this message. The Indians have been living there as a tribe now in Kenya because the Indians have given them too much Indian pancake. They call it chapati. You understand me? Chapati, so when the Indians have been serving this this food for very long time, the Kenyans already got confused. That's why I said the way to confuse an African man, or even the Kenyan man, Ruta, serve him a ugali, put roasted baked chicken. You understand? They used to this chicken come from the grave of black
Nyamachoma.
Nyamachoma. You say this great chicken came from America.
Yeah.
The blacks from George Foreman great chicken grade. You understand? They would we laugh inside that is AC.
And Kidola is happy that the blacks are moving there. Thank you, Kidola. Thank you. All right, let's bring in Kedo. Kedo, closing. Kedo, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. When you were speaking, one thing I want to say is there are some African countries that I think they get intimidated by Liberian accent. the Liberian accent sounds American, even though we that speak it, we are not American, right? And the
Guys,
American accent,
he's trolling you. He's trolling us.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Let me just end it shortly, quick. Um, the Americans that created that created American English, we was in war with the British, so they created the American English to make it to look superior. So when the American English came to Africa, to Liberia, if we the Africans that it was imposed upon, we started to speak it, and we'll go around other Africans when we speak that English. They just they can just some of them can just feel intimidated. They can be looking for a way to just attack, and we're seeing it's not like to say we are thinking any sort of way or whatsoever. But the American English, even is even European, is not African. I don't know why, and people feel that sort of way. They get intimidated by Liberians sometimes, so that's why they like to attack
No,
Liberians sometimes. I've met even
don't mind that Ugali brain. Go ahead.
yeah, so that's why they like to insult us and tell us other things. So what I want to talk on this is, the West and China. I think from the look of things, it will be packed for certain part. That certain part of Africa, the West will win. I believe the West will still have some parts in Africa to hold, and there are certain part of Africa that China or the East will hold, because there are still some African countries who are still loyal to the West.
Yeah.
So it will still be like that. Yes, you still have some countries, and we are seeing it now. But when it comes to the average, I believe that the East will take most of Africa. There will still be few parts of Africa that will be left with the West.
Thank you, Kedo.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
I'll go before
ahead.
Gway and let Gway close out. Overall, it's a great show as usual. A lot of good points. My overall point is always like my personal opinion is to utilize the AU to have a more coordinated agenda when speaking with the West or the East or whoever.
You
Because
trust the
if not, they're going to
AU?
divide. Well, I believe that if you go as individual nations, they're going to divide the nations, and then some of the nations going to get like overswayed or bribed by the West or the East, which is dangerous for Africa overall. So if you have a coordinated agenda, it's always the coordinated agenda over the sides. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's my opinion. But overall, and with, that's all I got. Mostly what I got to say. My last point was to Ola. Although Ola said points is come on, Vinny. Although Ola points is somewhat correct.
Yeah. About Haiti?
I feel like Haiti, yeah, but I feel like Haiti, that's in many ways need Africa, because if you look at what they're trying to do to Africa, you look at Haiti in the region where it sits, it's isolated. So many of the leaderships know for years they've been trying to have a relationship with Africa, trying to join the AU, because they know that at the end of the day, America's agenda is to somewhat force you into whatever deals that they want you to. And if you don't choose to follow, they're going to isolate you. Haiti has been isolated for years. Some of the guns and the technology that they're giving to DR right next door, they're not giving it to Haiti. Some of the illegal trade that DR is doing to Haiti, they don't say nothing about it in the media. You see what I'm saying? So Haiti is very isolated, and I believe that only African can help Haiti because they can amplify its voice. Because basically, like they will show you like one side of Haiti is the border side, right? Remember they used to show that, whereas half of Haiti, or certain areas, not even half Haiti, but certain areas along the border was cut down, and parts of DR was green. They're not going to tell you that DR was cutting or paying people to sell illegal tree, or basically do illegal tree cuttings to fund their charcoal markets. They're not going to tell you that, but they're going to just tell you that, oh, one side is green and the other side is not. There is an exploitative nature of the West, as long as the mulatto partners that they're plotting on Haiti. So I feel like Haiti needs to reconnect with Africa, and that's why even that's what you see with this government currently. Barbecue is no hero in Haiti. He is viewed as a tyrant, a pan-African talking, like violent kind of guy. You know what I mean? But he's not really. He don't have a
front on him. But we would do a topic on him too.
But also you got to touch on how the Kenyans, although they're trying to make their hearts may be in the right place, Biden is not actually footing the whole bill. Basically, I think he told them he's going to give them $600 billion. He only gave them less than 100.
That's why Ola said the Kenyans gonna run to DR. Thank you.
God bless, man. Be well.
Yes, thank you. All right, go ahead. Let me address Audrey. Audrey, don't you dare start with me again. It seems that Gambian accent is funny, or Gambian American. Eh, Audrey, don't you dare bring that egusi soup, accent to me. Okay, don't even start with me. Go ahead, go ahead.
Yeah, I think the West is probably going to win. You know, I will prefer the West to win. To be honest, I think that you have a better living uh standard of living in the West than you will in
In
China.
China, yeah.
So I wouldn't suggest them to want to sell half of Africa to the Chinese. Those people don't like black people. They're super racist. Most people think whites are racist. Chinese are more racist.
And people, they gotta watch out for that
Yeah, because they start
That
releasing
Wuhan bat soup.
exactly. People they start releasing all type of viruses into Africa, trying to take over and do all of that stuff. So I would suggest that Africans need to be smart, especially leadership, in what type of deals they're making. Only time will tell for us to see the results that come from whatever agreement that they involve in. I'm not keeping my hopes up, so but I will give credit to countries that are doing the best for their people and the African people over there.
Right.
I'm not just gonna give credit to people who just go sit at a table, have conversation, leave with a bunch of money, and just keep it for them and their family. At this point of time in Africa, we need to be giving people credit for the results that they produce, and not just because they went and took a picture with this person.
Exactly.
So
you.
that would be my point.
Thank you.
In closing. All right, for that, good show always.
Thank you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the end of the show. We've heard everyone's point of view. Some say the African leaders, are corrupt. Others are saying they just tap dancing. Hey, it's the usual. Hopefully, that railway, they put it to good use, but they would have to do business, okay? Because those resources are needed by, the people with the money. It's not like people in Africa are buying them. So we have to get realistic with that. So let's see how it goes. Hopefully they make better deal and the people, can start living, the lives that they deserve. Hopefully the African leaders also will become smarter. So I'll see you guys on the next one, and I'm out. Enjoy.
Lend thy ears to the Afridamas. Pay attention to the Afridamas. The true Saninke warrior. Naturalist his intelligence. As a true professor. Solution to brainwash diseases. Sit back, relax, and hear the wisdom. Afridamas will heal your minds. Sit back, reflect, you'll find no objection. Afridamas will clear your doubts here. Always log on to the Afridamas. Lend thy ears to the Afridamas is the truth